The late afternoon sun cast long, golden shadows across the wooden planks of the small town's main street, stirring dust that danced lazily in the warm wind. A crowd had gathered outside the general store, curiosity flickering in every eye, anticipation humming quietly through the townsfolk. On the wide porch, two sisters stood side by side, their differences impossible to ignore. The elder, graceful and radiant, wore a flowing pastel dress that caught the light with every subtle movement. Her hair meticulously styled, framed a face that had long been admired and envied. Confidence clung to her like a second skin. She was certain, almost arrogantly so, that the man approaching would choose her hand. Beside her stood the younger sister, plain in appearance, dressed in a simple earth-tone gown. She limped slightly with each careful step, her dark hair tied back with a rough ribbon. Her presence was quiet, almost invisible, yet there was a steadiness in her posture that belied the softness of her features. He came into view slowly, his boots tapping against the wooden boards in deliberate rhythm. Early 30s, rugged, with a short beard and eyes that seemed to weigh every detail of the world around him. He carried himself with a calm authority. A light brown shirt and dark vest marked him as a man accustomed to work, to responsibility, and to making choices that others feared to consider. His gaze swept over the gathered townspeople, the sisters, and the restless whispering that followed him like a shadow. The townsfolk had long speculated about his intentions. "Of course he'll take the beautiful one," muttered an older man under his breath. "No question," a woman whispered, shaking her head in disapproval at the mere thought of him choosing the plain, awkward girl. The beautiful sister tilted her chin slightly, a smile brushing her lips as she leaned forward, her posture radiating expectation. Every glance she cast at him was deliberate, calculated, meant to charm and secure the future she had long assumed was hers. Yet he did not rush. His eyes lingered not on the silk and finery, but on the subtle ways the younger sister held herself, the careful attention to the child she had helped earlier, the honesty in her gaze, the way her fingers fidgeted slightly with the hem of her dress, betraying both caution and quiet courage. The crowd held its breath as he paused midway on the porch, considering, observing, weighing what mattered most. The beautiful sister's smile faltered imperceptibly, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. For all her outward grace, she could not hide the impatience and confusion creeping into her expression. She had always believed beauty alone commanded respect, commanded love, commanded choice. But he was looking elsewhere. He reached forward slowly, deliberately, until his hand was finally on hers, the hand of the plain, despised girl. Gasps erupted from the crowd like sparks across dry grass. Whispered exclamations of shock rippled from the edges of the gathering. The beautiful sister recoiled almost imperceptibly, her eyes widening in disbelief, her composure cracking. She had not anticipated this, could not fathom that she had been passed over, that her outward elegance counted for nothing against the quiet resilience and unassuming courage she had always overlooked. The younger sister's eyes widened as well, a flicker of disbelief passing over her features, but it was quickly replaced by relief, by a subtle, growing warmth that filled her chest. His grip was firm, but gentle, an unspoken promise that he saw her, truly saw her, beyond the judgments and the whispers. Around them, the townspeople froze, some in shock, some in begrudging admiration, some with envy, all of them forced to confront the narrowness of their own expectations. The beautiful sister stepped back, swallowing, her lips pressed thin as realization settled in. She had been desired for her appearance, yet it was her sister's honesty, her kindness, and her resilience that had captured his attention. The crowd continued to murmur, but the sound faded into a distant hum compared to the heartbeat of the moment, which thudded loudly in the quiet understanding between the two, who now held hands. He lifted her hand slightly, not in display, but in reassurance. The plain girl's shoulders straightened, a subtle smile breaking across her face, one that was not a surprise, but of recognition, that at last someone valued her for what she carried inside, not for what the world claimed she lacked. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in deep golds and crimson hues, casting their clasped hands in light that seemed almost holy, a quiet rebellion against shallow judgments. The moment held, charged with quiet triumph and the shock of those who had assumed they understood the world. He did not speak, for words were unnecessary. The clarity of choice, the depth of recognition, and the quiet courage of both lingered in the gaze they shared. Around them, the town began to stir again, whispers of scandal and astonishment blending with the faintest hints of awe. But the two remained poised, unshaken, connected not by expectation or appearance, but by an unspoken truth that had been realized in that single deliberate act. The sun slipped behind the distant mountains, shadows stretching across the town, yet the light seemed to linger on them. The world momentarily suspended. And in that suspension, the story of expectation shattered, and a new story began, one that would challenge society, reward courage, and honor the strength that beauty alone could never command.